you don't like it that much at all, don't listen to it that much. Anyone?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Depends on the type.
Yeah. Like, well, what kind of rap do you guys usually hear, or do you know about? Like, is it Lil Wayne, 50 Cent kind of
Yeah,
stuff,
pretty mainstream.
stuff like that? Okay, well, I never really liked rap myself because most of the things I usually heard would be like sex, drugs, monies, stuff like that. It just like it kind of put me off. It wasn't really interesting. Like I don't like listening to stuff that doesn't help. It's like what am I listening to? They're telling me to do what now? Shake my what? So one day I was at a friend's house and we were watching MTV and a music video came on, and I finally found a rapper that came to be the exception to my I hate rap, I'll never listen to it again rule. His name is Lupe Fiasco, and before I tell you about him, I want you to listen for a couple of seconds.
So no matter what you've been through, no matter what you into, no matter what you see, when you look outside your window, brown grass or green grass, picket fence or barbed wire, never ever put them down. You just lift your arms higher, raise them till your arms higher, let them know you there, that you struggling, surviving, that you gon' persevere. Yeah, ain't nobody leaving, nobody going home, even if they turn the lights out, the show is going on.
Okay, so that was about 30 seconds of Lupe Fiasco. The show goes on is the song that was playing. Um, so I think Lupe is a kind of different artist that I think people should know about for two reasons. He's different from most of the main popular artists that you usually hear about, and he actually tries to change things through his lyrics and his activism and everything like that. So the first reason that kind of makes Lupe set apart from everybody else is his background a little bit. Like the typical story, the rap person, they come from the hood, um, then somehow they magically get famous for whatever reason, even though they're not really that great at all, like Soulja Boy or whatever. I have no idea how that happened. So Lupe, his father was a Black Panther. He was born Muslim. He had no TV or anything like that. So when he was younger, he would read National Geographic, and he would always just try to educate himself. Um, so that kind of sets him apart with his background, like how he was raised. Another thing that makes him different is that he kind of varies his music. Like he may be in the rap or hip hop genre, but he also includes rock and roll in his music, R&B. His topics that he talks about a couple of love songs like "I'll Never Forget You," which features John Legend, and it's kind of like an R&B kind of sounding song. It's a ballad, I guess you would say, with his part. He has encouraging songs like the one you just heard, "This Show Goes On," which you can probably hear in the title why it's kind of encouraging. The show goes on. He talks about possibilities like his song "All Black Everything," where he asks his listeners to question, what if slavery was actually, not slavery? Uh, what if people went to Africa and got the slaves and said, "Hey, we want you to work for us and we'll pay you," rather than we're just gonna take you and you'll work for us? And he talks about like historical activists like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and how things would be different with them and how maybe 50 Cent would end up being a white rapper instead. He also talks about politics in his controversial song "Words I Never Said." He kind of takes a shot at the government on a whole. He kind of talks about Glenn Beck, Linbaugh, and even Obama, which you probably wouldn't expect because people kind of assume that everybody who's black kind of likes Obama without really knowing what's going on. So that kind of sets Lupe apart with the type of music that he makes. What makes him different in another way is that he kind of wants to change things with his lyrics. In some of his songs, he encourages people to think for themselves more, like in his kind of satirical song "Dumb It Down," where he just kind of says you can't make it in the music industry unless you're saying something that people can totally understand. Dumb it down. Uh, People don't want to think for themselves; they just want to have someone else think for them. Again, in his political song "Words I Never Said," he wants people to think about politics and the government and what they're hearing and how things are going on. Like He talks about Gaza Strip being bombed and Obama didn't do anything about it, but nobody really talks about that very much. In a book called It's Bigger Than Hip Hop, the author kind of says that hip hop shapes young people's perceptions about things a lot, which you really can say that because, well, young people listen to this kind of music and they let it affect them. So, about Lupe, he understands that hip hop shapes perceptions, but he tries to use this in a positive manner, like through his thought provoking lyrics and uh, constructive thinking, pretty much, positive thinking. In London's The Times, I believe it's a newspaper, Lupe says that he and other rappers kind of have a global influence. Like, you'll go to South Africa and you'll hear people singing 50 Cent songs and his songs and everything. And he's like, they have a they have impact on people, so they should use that impact in a positive manner. They should try to help and change things with their words instead of just rapping about, whatever people feel like. So he understands that he and other rappers should try to have a positive impact on their fans. What shows that Lupe actually trying to change things is actually working is that in Jet Magazine, they talk about how his record label didn't want him to make his excuse me, most recent album, and he had only made two before, and he was not going to be allowed to make any after that. For whatever reason, the record label did not allow him to speak about that. His fans petitioned and got 32,000 signatures to have him be allowed to actually make his most recent album, and it actually worked. And the record label let him make his music because of all those fans that petitioned and picketed and everything that they did to allow him to make his most recent album, which is called Lasers. So that kind of shows that it's actually working, and you can do a lot with your music if you use it in the right way. So here we have this great artist. He's different from most people. Uh, he tries to help with his music, but not enough people really listen to him. So it's my hope. I kind of hope that more people, like maybe you guys, would listen and try to listen to his message on your own and hear some of him on your own time, and listen to more artists like Lupe who are actually saying positive things rather than just talking about whatever, let's go get some money or whatever. So think about that as you listen to this last bit of this song.